top somehow.
My Straight Talk family, you've been hearing that theme song and you're wondering what's happening to Straight Talk tonight. But once you hear that theme song, you know I'm standing by. I want to say welcome to another edition of Straight Talk. And yes, a little bit tardy, for which I humbly apologize. But I say greetings to the world because we are on the World Wide Web. And we reach and communicate with you all over the globe from the wonderful paradise of two beautiful islands, St. Kitts and Nevis. So we say a very pleasant night to St. Kitts and Nevis and welcome all to Straight Talk. And as per usual, we thank all who continue to share that link. 'Cause whenever you share that link, we do get first-timers. And if you're a first-timer, I give you a special welcome. Tell the whole world if you love it. If at the end you don't love it, find a way to tell me. But just to inform you that Straight Talk is a public service program that facilitates and promotes free, underline free expression on all issues of national, regional, and international import, be they legal, be they environmental, be they technological, social, economic, and or political issues. On Straight Talk, you do have a forum to express yourselves freely. On this program, we try to raise the level of national, regional, and international consciousness. We try to raise the level of national, regional, and international discourse by alerting our people to their rights, to their responsibilities, and certainly to their obligations. My name is Ian Patches Lyburn, and I give Almighty God thanks for blessing me with yet another opportunity to join you on another occasion in conversation for one more time. And as your host, I continue to pledge to remain an untiring advocate of truthfulness. And because we are all called, I believe, to be God's prophets, seeking for the truth and right, standing firm for godly justice, and bringing all those evil things to light. So let us seek the courage needed, our high calling to fulfill, that we may all be, and we may all know, I should say, the blessing of the doing of God's will. So my Straight Talk family, absolutely nothing is watered down on this program. We don't try to make it sensational. We don't try to make it create excitement, neither by exaggeration or by omission. What we do is we stickle for the truth, what I call the unvarnished truth, the plain truth. Because we never, ever compromise the facts. We lean on the facts, as a matter of fact. So it's my duty to present the unvarnished truth. And for those who are joining me for the first time, just to let you know that we bring all people together across our federation and across the globe, because we are on the World Wide Web and we reach and touch the diaspora around the world. Some of you are in Africa, there's some of you in Asia, there's some of you in Europe, and there are a whole lot of you all over North America. So I am at liberty to say good night. I can say good morning, and I will also say good afternoon, because one of such greetings will be applicable to the region in which you now find yourselves. And some of you we know, some of you we have met physically, others we have met spiritually, and some of you we will never ever meet. And many of you have your different views, because yes, we are different people, so we are diverse in our views, and we entertain all shapes, all views. But what will trouble me is if we ever start to become disagreeable. So I always implore you to understand and thank Almighty God for helping us to understand. Oh, how pleasant, oh, how good it is, and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. So let us hope and pray for that day when we will all sing His praise together. So welcome again, my Straight Talk family, and I thank those who share the link. As you bring us first-timers, please continue to do so. I must always remind you as well that Straight Talk, and for the first-timers in particular, Straight Talk is a participative program. By that I mean we include your calls. At some stage we include your emails as well. And if you're so minded calling, the numbers are on your screens. The email address is on your screen. For those who like what I call the cloak of anonymity. We also heard on Alexa, for those who have that app. Just say, Alexa, play Massive Vibes Radio. You can see us and hear us as well on Alexa. So we're on YouTube, Facebook, Alexa. And some of you have made donations. We do get via Alexa through a modest contribution as requested and by the owner of Alexa, and we are grateful for that. And while we have contributions, we do also accept your donations, and some of you have made donations, and for that I'm eternally grateful. I say a big, big thank you. I must also reassure you that no matter what your contribution is, it helps us to keep this program, a public service program that is, to keep it alive. Others who may wish to donate can simply scan the code on your monitors. And my Straight Talk family is a very, very simple process. Doesn't take much time. So we thank you in advance as well. We normally do our observations, and we are just going to address one observation tonight in the interest of time, because I've started a little late. And after my observation, we move to our thesis, which I have titled tonight, Time to Amend the St. Kitts Nevis Constitution, not to review constituency boundaries. We need to look at our Constitution. And our first observation, or matter of fact, before we go there, how can I forget my Straight Talk Brigade? I would be in trouble if I overlooked saying welcome and greetings to my Straight Talk Junior Brigade. Jasmine, Young Dwayne, Tristan, Shamar, Kevin, Young Wu, Costa over there in South Carolina, Jamal in Anguilla. There's Travis, Travon, upon extension, Neymar, my grandson, and his good friend Soraya. Haven't seen Soraya for some time. And Elizabeth, a new one, new kid on the block. Also that special lady in St. Louis. And my first observation, I looked at the National Assembly. I was scrolling down on YouTube and I came across the National Assembly. I was surprised we had a meeting convened today. Very short meeting. But what I saw really was unbelievable. So I wish to play an unedited statement which was circulated, and Straight Talk received a copy of it, and a statement by the third Prime Minister Timothy Harris of the proceedings at the National Assembly. The content of this is self-explanatory, so I don't need to say much, my Straight Talk family, but to play this statement.
This morning, the Parliament, as usual, got off to a late start. That has become the norm, and surely is an indication of the government's inability to organize its own calendar to ensure that at least 7 members are there for the Parliament to be convened. In fact, the last person to arrive was the Prime Minister himself, who is down on the order paper to present a bill today on the Citizenship by Investment program. He came around 11:06 a.m. or thereabout. Parliament, by the standing order, should really be convened by 10 a.m. unless otherwise members are notified, and the public basically had been notified of a 10 a.m. start. But that is just reflective of a pattern of callousness and disregard for rules, for regulations, but most importantly for people. Today, dramatize that our democracy, if we are not careful, is going down a very steep hill. Because how could we understand that the Speaker of the Parliament could allow for minutes of the sittings of the Parliament to remain unconfirmed, unactioned, in some cases over about 3 years. Since she has been sworn in as the Speaker way back in 2022, even the minutes of that sitting, she has not seen it appropriate to have confirmed by the Parliament. So 2022 was passed. 3 months you were there. October, November, December, not confirmed. One of the most critical matters on the legislative agenda in our Westminster model is the budget, the appropriation bill, because failure to pass it will force a government to resign. The budgets we have had in 2022, in 2023, in 2024, none of them have been confirmed. In a couple months, another budget will be passed in the National Assembly. These things are unprecedented. And I would say that we will hit the Guinness Book of Records, because nowhere in the Commonwealth, Westminster model practice, could any speaker be so lazy, so incompetent, or distracted, or any combination of, or all of those, to neglect the confirmation of minutes. The minutes basically represent the authoritative record of what transpired in the Parliament and the consensus of it found when it is put before the membership for confirmation. And for 2022, not one. 2023, not one set of minutes. 2024, not one set of minutes. We are into 2025, when memories of some people may have waned. You want to confirm minutes as soon as possible after the event of the sitting of the Parliament. And therefore, if we are meeting, as has been a pattern monthly, if the Parliament meets 1 month, let's say in November, by the sitting in December, the minutes for that meeting must be confirmed when it's still fresh. So when Peter says, well, this wasn't what I said, somebody there could tell him, yes, that is what you say. We need to do these things in a timely way. And no one could accept that for 3 years going, this government has been in the service to the country 3 years now. And not once, nobody on the government side take heed and say, Madam Speaker, every time there's a parliament, she has to go through the order 13, which speaks to formal entry of the Speaker, prayers, oath of allegiance to new members. And what is the first thing thereafter? Yes. The first substantive matter is confirmation of minutes. So important is that it takes precedent and the order of business ahead of messages from the Governor General. So confirmation of minutes. 13D, messages from the Governor General comes after that. And then announcement by the Speaker. I think it's important to understand what is at play here, how important and critical that is. So every time the House meets, the Speaker, Lanin Blanchett, has been saying, deferred. And you mean to tell me on reflection, she not thinking she deferring these things for too long? So now you have this bulk, over 27 sittings of the Parliament or thereabouts, between 2022, October, and 2024, she wants them to be dealt with in bulk. And she will ask the government side to move them in bulk. And I rose and I said, no. This is not how minutes are to be dealt with. each minute must be approved on its own. Because what you come with 2022, maybe you might have 2 or 3 sets of minutes there. Which one are we dealing with? So to do it properly, you have to say the minutes of October 2022 is before us, honorable members. And you go through and see if there are any objection to anything. And you have to do it for every other sitting. You can't say you ping them together and you are approving them in bulk. It's the same when you are passing bills. You have all these bills. You can't wait till you finish and say, let us approve them all as a bulk. It leads to confusion. It is unprecedented. And the Speaker ought to know better. And I want to encourage her to take her work more serious. You can't have the office, but not discharging the responsibility of the office. And that is severely lacking. Today, I exited the Parliament in protest against the mockery of the Parliament, the dysfunction of the Parliament, that for years and months, and imagine in 2025, we are still tarrying with minutes for 2022. In 2025, we are tarrying in getting minutes for 2023 together. In 2025, we are tarrying, we are behind with the confirmation of minutes for 2024. And for 2025, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, no minutes have been confirmed. And every time she sits, this Standing Order 13 is what should guide her. Something is very wrong with this. And it's a threat to our democracy, which we are seeing reflected in these manipulations and unprecedented maneuverings in the Parliament. And we are seeing it reflected in the Electoral Office and the Boundaries Commission. It is a threat to democracy, which every citizen must stand for, and we must become concerned about it. This can be explained to a rational being. And she will say, well, I send out up to 2024 in July 2025. That is months and years after the event. How could that be rationalized? So you come today now. Now it is convenient for her to attempt to do her work. All of them together. Let us take them by bulk. And even the members say, well, how are we going to do that? Let's do them by year. So let's take all of 2022. Because, we send them out and I didn't get any feedback. She wasn't paying attention. Because I myself engaged the clerk of the assembly over some concerns I've had. But you can't take them in bulk in the manner she is addressing. Take your time and do your work, Madam Speaker. You're an intelligent person. You know the rules are there to guide you. You are not above the law. It's oppressive of my right as a member of the Parliament to come to the Parliament, be advised of what is on the order paper, and to be able to respond as I see fit in relation to them. How do I know today we are going to have minutes for 2022 and 2023 and 2024? Not even in the notice that went out, she advised us that that was the approach she's going to take. The whole system is irregular. It is, in my view, illegal, and it is highly objectionable, a parliamentary practice. And I will not countenance it. And I walked out in process of this nonsense that the Speaker was attempting to do. She must do her work, take time, read the rules, and do her work to the best of her ability. Seek advice. She has gone across the Commonwealth traveling at public expense. I would hope that she's sitting in the meeting and she's understanding and she's looking for best practice, not just the fun. and the pomp of the office, but the responsibility is not being executed in a satisfactory manner. And I could speak of this. I have been sitting in Parliament for over 30 years, so I know what it should be like. I have read the rules and I try to read it for every sitting because I know this government has shown disdain for the rules. Why is this happening? Where is the voice within the government that will speak common sense to these people who profess to be expert at nothing? This is the dilemma the country faces. And so that is basically, in a nutshell, the sum total. Gross negligence on the part of the Speaker in dealing with what she's obligated by the regulations to do. Not just at her women fancy, at every sitting. This is why the standing order says, unless the National Assembly otherwise direct, the business of each sitting day shall be transacted in the following order. The Speaker enters, firstly, the call for prayers. You have oath of allegiance if there are new members. Confirmation of the minutes come. So it's...
And yes, my Straight Talk family, the behavior of Speaker Lanning Blanchard speaks volumes about the state of our democracy. And yes, minutes of parliamentary meetings are indeed critical for several reasons. They are in fact the official record of the proceedings. They serve as the official and legal record of everything discussed and decided during a parliamentary session. And this can only ensure transparency and accountability. And to hear the leader of government business, a so-called engineer, trying to defend that, it's sad as well. Citizens and the media rely on these records to understand how decisions are made, who supported or who suppose or oppose legislation, and the reason behind key policies. Because minutes provide a historical archive, my Straight Talk family, of parliamentary activities, which is vital for research, for legal interpretation, and understanding the evolution of laws and governance. We can't just dismiss them. They can even help courts and legal professionals to interpret laws based on legislative intent, especially when the wording of the law is ambiguous. And of course, members of parliament ought to be able to use minutes to track debates and contributions, prepare for future sessions, and hold each other accountable for statements and positions. And when members change, new members of parliament can refer to past minutes to maintain continuity in policy. So there can't be an excuse to have minutes outstanding for 3 years. 3 years from 2022, no minutes brought to the parliament. I know Speaker Blanchard, and she once said that Curtis Wimpy Martin was her role model or gave her guidance, and that made me concerned about her future performance, as Wimpy Martin has left a legacy in that parliament of turning it into a useless instrument. So how could she take advice from Wimpy Martin? No wonder she performs like that. My good friend Lanine, I haven't seen in ages, but you can't be wrong and strong. Please, try to get the records of the business of Parliament out in a timely manner. I recommend that you take an introverted look at your performance in an effort to improve your job as a speaker. And that's my observation for tonight. And I move right into my thesis, which I said earlier I have titled time to amend the St. Kitts Nevis Constitution not to review constituency boundaries. And my Straight Talk family, my fellow citizens, you know I always speak plainly. I always speak without fear or favor. And I have come to tell you tonight that the time has come to amend the Constitution of St. Kitts and Nevis and not to tinker with constituency boundaries. Amend the Constitution first, beg your pardon. And that's my proposal. Radical one, yes. Controversial, certainly. But necessary, absolutely. Some will say it won't happen. Some will say it's unconstitutional. But I say, hear me out. Because when St. Kitts Nevis became independent in 1983, the number of constituencies were increased to 11, with 8 on St. Kitts and 3 on Nevis, up from 7 in St. Kitts and 2 on Nevis. There was a realignment of boundaries. And since that time, there has been one minor adjustment to the boundaries in 1989, when part of Otley's village was transferred from constituency number 7 to constituency number 8 in St. Kitts. 35 years later, there has been no further change, but there were 4 reports produced by a Constituency Boundaries Commission between 2009 and 2015. And each one, every single one, my Straight Talk family, believe it or not, was challenged in the court. And we remember the 2015 Privy Council ruling. How many of us remember this ruling came down just days before the 2015 elections? My Straight Talk family.
For the purposes of the forthcoming election due to take place on Monday, the 16th February 2015, it is determined and ordered that, firstly, the list to be used in the said election is and shall be that existing prior to and apart from the proclamation bearing the reference number 2 of 2015, purportedly issued and published by the Governor-General in Extraordinary Gazette number 3 bearing the date 16th January 2015. Second, any effect which the said proclamation would continue otherwise to have, whether in relation to any other election or otherwise, is hereby suspended until further order. All further questions.
And my Straight Talk family, listen to the facts. Hear the injustice. Hear the silence from those who should be accountable. Now in May last year, May 2024, we were told that the Constituency Boundaries Commission was appointed and would proceed with the reviewing of the electoral boundaries. Yet after 1 year, there is no clarity on whether the chairman, Mr. Wycliffe Morton, is even still in office. Straight Talk understands, or Straight Talk knows, as a matter of fact, that Wycliffe Morton has left the Federation to pursue theological studies in Jamaica. Fine. That is his personal right and his calling. But the question we ask, has Wycliffe Morton resigned? Has he ever convened a single meeting of the Commission since his appointment in May 2024? Has any report, as required under Section 50 of our Constitution, been submitted to the Governor-General? And the people deserve answers. We deserve transparency. We do not deserve silence. My Straight Talk family, there are 11 constituencies in total. 8 on St. Kitts and 3 on Nevis. The Constitution stipulates if the number increases, the Constitution requires that Nevis must hold 1/3 of the total. But we now hear that a member on the advice of the leader of the opposition who sits on the commission has recommended increasing the seats from 11 to 15. 2 more for St. Kitts and 2 more for Nevis. That would mean Nevis ends up with 5 of 15 seats, 1/3, while holding only 26% of the population, according to the last census. Meanwhile, the premier of Nevis, my straight dog family, and as I said, we ought to know, the country ought to be told whether Wycliffe Morton has resigned and what is the disposition of the commission since he has gone to do studies in Jamaica. But meanwhile, my straight dog family, the premier of Nevis wants 5 seats as well, but for an entirely different reason to the member from the opposition. And Brantley gave this reason for the seats he required.
We want to increase the number of seats in Nevis to 7, a plan that we had before that was put on hold because of COVID. Why? Because the rigors of government now are far more than they were in 1983 when we became independent. We want to see 5 federal seats on Nevis, and we'll be speaking to the government in St. Kitts about expanding that. 10 in St. Kitts, 5 in Nevis, 15 seats. Again, the demands of modern government suggests that we need more people, a broader range of talent in government.
He cited the demand of modern government. So with 3 seats, he was kingmaker. What would he be with 5 seats? Ask yourselves, my straight dog family.
Let me be clear. This party, the Concerned Citizens Movement, has been and shall remain firmly in the role of kingmaker. For all who have ears to hear, let them hear.
So my straight dog family, Mark Brantley wants 5 seats. He wants more influence, perhaps, more leverage in Bastille. So we ask, how much more must St. Kitts give up? Let us face the facts. Our Constitution, my straight dog family, was drafted on the back of political expediency. I repeat that. Our Constitution was drafted on the back of political expediency. Backroom deals. The late Sim Daniel, for example, made sure Nevis got everything. Nevis got his own government, a share of the national revenue. And let's not forget, Nevis got and still has the right to secede. Meanwhile, St. Kitts got nothing. No government of its own. No autonomy. No proper safeguards. The only thing secured was Kennedy Simmons' legacy as the father of independence. A title that is still hotly debated till today. Because some say Robert Llewellyn Bradshaw is the father of independence. Some say Kennedy Alphonse Simmons is. But this all started from the general election of 18th February 1980 that saw the majority of votes being cast for the Labour Party, but only 4 party candidates were actually elected. Pam got the remaining seats in St. Kitts and quickly entered into a coalition with the NRP and formed the new government. Moore became the leader of the opposition back then. The marriage of convenience was not expected to last long, but Labour underestimated the willingness of the People's Action Movement's leadership to compromise with the Nevis Reformation Party to maintain power. Yes, it was a compromise that was to find itself written into the new independence constitution. Moore and Labour advocated separate local governments for the two islands with an overall federal government. The debate on the independence constitution was a heated one that Moore even threatened to change the national anthem and the flag whenever Labour returned to office. His comrades Fitzroy Bryant and Fidel O'Flaherty found themselves brought before the court on charges of incitement. Moore was eventually arrested in 1987 and charged with an absurd, outdated Sedition Act, or under an outdated Sedition Act. He was later freed of all those charges. But today, my Straight Talk family, in 2025, St. Kitts still does not have its own government. The federal elections are meant to elect a St. Kitts government. And Vance Amy said it best 32 years ago after the 1993 elections that resulted in the infamous bottle and stone chaos. Vance Amy said this, my Straight Talk family. We may not remember this, but Straight Talk always bring you the facts.
I would like to make it absolutely clear that the Concerned Citizens Movement did everything to find a solution to the political impasse, bearing in mind our well-known campaign position that we would not join any federal government with any political party in St. Kitts. And we expect that all citizens will respect the position of the Concerned Citizens Movement.
He went on to say that the federal elections are to elect a St. Kitts government. And Ami said what many still are still afraid to admit, that this system is broken. And the current Prime Minister, Terence Michael Drew, proudly tells us there is no St. Kitts in the Constitution, as if that is something to boast about. He told us this, my Straight Talk family, no St. Kitts in the Constitution.
St. Kitts does not exist in our Constitution. I'll say it again, St. Kitts does not exist. Nevis exists, St. Kitts and Nevis exist, but St. Kitts does not exist. The only place St. Kitts can have funds to do things on St. Kitts is from the consolidated fund. St. Kitts does not have an island administration with a separate fund. So I want us to make that clear.
So what? Instead of amending the supreme law, our Constitution, the supreme law of our land, to reflect equality, balance, and justice, he remains silent and accepts the Constitution and proud to say St. Kitts does not exist in the Constitution. What a shame, my Straight Talk family. He even went on to say this about the issue of the land grab in Nevis.
The Nevis Island Administration is responsible for its resources. And therefore, I am not even going to comment on what Nevis should or shouldn't do with its lands. Sometimes I see people trying to pull me in. You can't pull me into Nevis affairs. If Nevis decide to sell their land here, what does that have to do with me? The Constitution recognizes two entities, St. Kitts Nevis and Nevis. St. Kitts is not recognized in the Constitution. Let me tell you how serious this is. Let's say someone from Nevis were to become Prime Minister. They can determine how we manage our land in St. Kitts. But if I am the Prime Minister, I cannot determine how Nevis manages its land. It's a serious constitutional matter, you know. So I say all the time, why are you including me in this? I can't be involved in this. This has nothing to do with me. The Constitution is clear. Nevis manages its lands. St. Kitts Nevis federal government manages the land of St. Kitts. The Constitution allows the fact that if a Nevisian becomes prime minister, they can control the land of both Nevis and St. Kitts, but a Kittitian who becomes prime minister cannot control ever the land in Nevis.
My Straight Talk family, these are serious issues. And many will get upset because we speak about them. But we have to speak the truth. Nevis gets to speak on matters of national importance, gets guaranteed seats, gets its own government, and still the option to walk away. But St. Kitts carries the federal burden, guarantees Nevis's debts, over $500 million, and continues to sacrifice representation and self-governance. Just recently, we guaranteed even more Nevis's debts. For what? The Vance Amy International Airport and geothermal. How can we forget that? This is not partnership. This is imbalance. This is injustice. And just recently, the Federation was told about the census report by the Cabinet Secretary. So let me ask you the blunt question. Can or should Nevis, with 26% of the population, be allowed to have 50% of the number of seats on St. Kitts? Yes, it's 1/3 of the total number, 15, but it's half of 10. 5 is half of 10. So why should St. Kitts, with 74% of the population, have 5 more seats than Nevis with 26% of the population? And I'm not creating any division. I am just stating the facts that we need to look at and address. Can Nevis continue to shape policy in St. Kitts while the people of St. Kitts have no government of their own? Can a PM, can a prime minister have no say on land in Nevis, but a division premier have say over all of St. Kitts? No, that should not be anymore. We must amend the Constitution before we even think about withdrawing any boundaries. We must finally give St. Kitts what Nevis already has, a government. Nevis has a government, but St. Kitts needs a government too. Nevis has autonomy, but we need autonomy as well. Representation, respect. So let us reset the balance. Let us draft a fair and modern federal structure, one that reflects today's reality, not the backroom deals of 1983. Billy Herbert has gone, and Simmons too has gone out of office. If Nevis wants 5 seats, then let St. Kitts have its own government. If Nevis wants control, let them control their affairs, but not at our expense. The Constitution is bad. It is outdated. It is unjust. And it must be amended now. It is time to amend the St. Kitts Nevis Constitution, not to review the constituency boundaries. That's my story tonight, my Straight Talk family. And I am not going to change it. I'm going to open the lines because I expect you to have your say. Those are my views. They are not absolute. But St. Kitts needs its own government, just like Nevis has its own government. My Straight Talk family, the lines are open. I'll entertain your calls and your emails. I always want to implore you, though, that when I do that in a few seconds, I anticipate you will respect others. And of course, to achieve that, you must first respect yourselves. Let us try to be fair to all concerned, and let us try to build goodwill and better friendships. Let us ensure that the things we say and or do will be beneficial to all concerned. And in the process of saying and or doing those things, let us strive, my Straight Talk family, to build a kinder, gentler St. Kitts and Nevis. At 4 before the 9 o'clock hour, I go to the lines and say good night. Our first caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Good night, Mr. Liber.
Good night, my dear. How are thou?
I am great.
Always good to hear you.
There are times when action is required to defend.
Required to defend.
Our great democracy.
Our great democracy.
Against those who would see it perverted.
See it perverted. Mm-hmm.
Into one more rigged game.
Into one more rigged game. Yep.
Where the rich and the powerful win.
The rich and the powerful win. Mm-hmm.
I repeat, there are times when action is required to defend our great democracy against those who would see it perverted into more rigged game where the rich and the powerful win. Have a great evening.
Have a great evening, my dear. Thank you as usual for providing us with your usual thought, quotations, and this one is no different. There are times when action is required to defend our democracy against those who would see it perverted into one more rigged game where the rich and the powerful would win. Let's go back to the lines and thank this caller for holding. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Mr. Straight Talk.
Abracadabra. Sounds like my brother.
Abracadabra. How are you, my wonderful brother?
I am peaceful, my brother. What about yourself? What about you?
What can I say? So far, so good. I thank you for what you are doing. I mean, your topic is so interesting tonight. But let me ask you something. So a man cannot stay in St. Kitts and run for election in Nevis?
No, not at all. Impossible.
So can somebody stay in Nevis and run for election in St. Kitts?
No, well, there's a residency requirement, so that can't happen either. But they influence the elections in terms of the federal representation. For example, you see what's happening now in the parliament. There are 3 seats on the opposition benches, but they always vote or have voted each time in the last 3 years with the government. So they are the government backbenchers. Something has to be wrong with that.
Yes, I just trying to understand what you are saying, and it makes sense. And the thing is that they are opposition, but they don't have nothing bad to say about the government. Even when they are drag their feet on the ground, they're still not criticizing them. So they are not opposition. They are working with the government. That's all I can say. Is the way you explaining it, and I never understand it. And so till you explain it now that these people is working with the government, they're not working against the government. They're supporting everything. They never get up one time, as far as I hear you say, and say, well, this is wrong, that's wrong. So something is not going right.
They're like government backbenchers, except that they're on their opposition benches.
Oh,
you understand?
I don't know.
And you're telling me now,
I don't know.
There's a move afoot to give them 2 more seats, so they'll have 5 seats, and we have 10, 50% of our seats. We got to be cautious.
So they're going to give them 2 more.
That's a recommendation.
We're going to only get 1.
2.
I mean, we're going to only get 2.
2. Yes, because the Constitution says they have to get 1/3 of the total. 1/3 of the total equals to 50% of ours. And whether we like to hear it or not, that's the facts. And how can we trust a man like Mark Brantley? What if he gets 5 seats in Nevis?
It's not right. They have to do something about that. I think the whole country have to come together and say, this is wrong, let it amend it. That's all I can say. I do amendment to fix the Constitution. It's outdated.
He's hoping to bring 10,000 people and plant them in the south of Nevis. I wonder if that's his constituency. Who do you think they'll vote for? 10,000 people.
That's what you have something. You have something with that saying it.
Oh yes. I'll get that for you in a couple minutes. Don't you worry. We don't talk loosely. We provide you the facts.
You know what's so funny, Mr. Straight Talk? My brother was here last night with me, and I tell him what's going on. And I tell him I'm trying to pick you up and what. So he did what he had to do. So he said, who this guy? I said, this is a guy that do this show and he's the best stuff there. What? You know, my brother just hear you straight up for just that little shot. He said, I got to listen to this guy. I have to listen to him. I said, guy, you got to listen to this guy. This guy, he don't talk nothing unless he got the facts about things. He said, what? I said, yes, anytime you hear him come on the ear. If he don't have the facts, he's not going to speak about it. So I don't know if my brother is listening to you tonight. And if he do, I just want to say good night to my wonderful brother there in Jersey, Mr. Brad, you know. But Mr. Straight Talk, I think that St. Kitts and Nevis got to do something about that Constitution. They got to do something because this is, he's saying right, it's wrong. So I don't want to take up... what happened with the Tabasco pepper, that it got to take 2 years for it to grow before they can reap harvest.
2 years?
2 years. Okay. Because you say this one, it's since last year. So if it's a year and they ain't say nothing, then they have to give it 2 years for it to grow. Okay. So that's the progress of it. So they're going to do something, they're going to let you know next year because this year going to make a year.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
So it's next year they're going to let you know what's the result of it. So it takes 2 years to grow.
Okay, my brother.
So you got to do your homework on it and let us know what really happened. Okay. What really happened. Mr. Stretak, I say enough. I just want to thank you so much for what you are doing and just do what you got to do. Detour. See you when I see you. Abracadabra.
Thank you, my brother. From another mother, we will sort that out. Our little mishap, you know, we speak about, right?
Yes,
so
yes.
We can have a cocktail together.
Yeah, we're going to put the iron and the crease and get it worked out.
Yes, my brother. Yes, my brother.
Thank you.
Always good to hear you. Abracadabra. Yes, my Straight Talk family. Mark Brantley did in fact tell the nation. He told the Federation that he anticipates that this project would accommodate between 7 and 10,000 citizens, residents, who will eventually become citizens under this CBI program, it is my understanding. 10,000 people for Nevis. And I always bring in the facts, so be with me. I'm trying to find it. I will find it. But the lines are open in the meantime, my Straight Talk family. And we are proposing that something has to be done about our Constitution. It can be done. Don't tell me it can't be done. This thing about, yes, it speaks to the electoral boundaries. But when I read that report, I got cold feet, my Straight Talk family. I really got cold feet. Trust me. When you're going to give Nevis, little Nevis with 13,000 people, 5 seats. 5 seats. And St. Kitts with 38,000 people, 10. Twice the amount as Nevis. And they have 26% of the population. It's a contentious issue. And many would not like to face it. But they are the facts. They are the facts, my Straight Talk family. 5 seats for 13,000 people. and double that, 10 seats for 38,000. So 76% or 74% of the population will be represented by 10 elected representatives, and 26% will be represented by 5. Yes, I know it speaks to 1/3, but I don't understand the rationale when you come down to the brass tacks. Something has to be wrong with that, my Straight Talk family, and I am calling it out. I mean no offense to any of my divisions, but how can we trust Brantley? No, he won't be in office all the time, but how can we trust him? I tried downloading some information from that convention yesterday. It's something was giving me some problems, but I'll get you something from that convention as well. I was very impressed with the leader, Daniel Hodge. Very impressed with the presentation, and of course the special speaker, the doctor, what's the name? That doctor from Nevis. My Straight Talk family, as we try to find that information, I'm trying to find that information that I just said I would get for you, but I'll get it for you. I promise you I'll get it. Believe me, I'll get it before the program is done. So let me not get too distracted at this point in time, but to say to you, my Straight Talk family, that in St. Kitts, in 2025, after 42 years of independence, St. Kitts still does not have its own government. And whether we like it or not, the federal elections are therefore meant to elect a St. Kitts government. What else does? And then Drew comes to tell us he can't find St. Kitts in the Constitution. Yes, he said this.
St. Kitts does not exist in our Constitution. I'll say it again. St. Kitts does not exist. Nevis exists. St. Kitts and Nevis exist, but St. Kitts does not exist. The only place St. Kitts can have funds to do things on St. Kitts is from the consolidated fund. St. Kitts does not have an island administration with a separate fund. So I want us to make that clear.
Yes. But he's boasting about that. Amend the Constitution. Move to it. Amend it to give us our own government. You think somebody in your cabinet won't support that? Amend it. Amend it, like I said. Amend the Constitution. This email reads, my Straight Talk family, the foolish talk I hear now and then, that Harris promised to step down after 2 terms, but was planning to go another term, which would deny Sean from becoming the succeeding Prime Minister, is utter nonsense. If Harris had completed his 2 terms as agreed, and then decide to continue another term beyond 2025, then his criticism would be justly appropriate. He was never allowed to reach his 2 terms because some people wrongly second-guessed him, and like a bat out of hell, impetuous dismantled team unity that was working so well. Now look at the end result. Hardship, grievances, pains and suffering being endured by the electorate. But the electors in government are living affluent lives. Reads this email. Who is or who are the liars in this case? With regards to Reginald Francis boatyard matter, I'm a bit confused, but certainly not foolish. Therefore, I asked a simple question. Who is fooling who? Is it the AG, the Agriculture Minister, or the Prime Minister? I must also say, as I conclude, they are fooling themselves and definitely not us as the electorate. They are a bunch of hooligans, liars, beg your pardon, and good for nothing. Mr. DJ, I like your boldness, courage, tenacity, and resolve in politics. Absolutely no one can honestly accuse you of being a traitor to the Prime Minister and his Labour Party. I find you to be a man of principle, ethics, and high standards. Albeit, your campaign against Team Unity and Harris in particular was a contributing factor that brought a sudden end to Team Unity rule. Albeit you issued a caveat to the new government that you expect to see governance, and if for any reason it was not forthcoming, then your criticism of them would be more severely and immense than Team Unity. They swore that they couldn't and will never be as bad as Team Unity. But DJ, it wasn't long after you discovered how lie, corrupt, spiteful, arrogant, shady, and deceitful they are. When you compare them with Team Unity, undoubtedly, it's like chalk to cheese. Another thing I want to remind the DJ of, never forget the old adage that if you lie with dogs, you will be bitten with dog fleas. You once were a friend of the old crook, a spoiled seed in name and nature. He recently launched an outrageous attack on you on radio, but he has no other choice but to sing for his supper. For the handout he is getting from the government, he could never compare himself with the DJ, an independent stalwart with integrity, and no mendicant or beggar as the spoiled human. Fear no one, Mr. DJ. Only regret is I would like to openly support you in your endeavors, but I fear being victimized. Keep up the excellent work. Mr. DJ reads this email. This other email reads, "Greetings, my hero, Patches. Stop calling him Snake. His name is Judas, Patches. He almost pulled it off. He will if we let him get them 10,000 CBI people on that 6 square miles in Nevis. He going ball, he ain't practicing law. Mama Brantley get to sell all the land. Judas law firm gets to sell all 10,000 passports, and they leave politics and go and live happy thereafter in Monaco. Patches, maths is your strongest weak point, but you add up and you will see the amount of zeros behind them. First 3 numbers. Peace and love, as well as much respect, reads this email." It's 9:14, my Straight Talk family. If you have just joined us, yes, we are discussing a very contentious issue called the Constitution. It's been contentious since the 1980s. Because, my Straight Dog family, our Constitution was drafted on the back of political expediency. There were backroom deals. The late Sim Daniel made sure Nevis got everything. His own government, a share of the national revenue. And let's not forget the right to secede. Right now, Brantley is getting $66 million per year. $66 million. But he owes in debt $500 million. But although Nevis has its government, a share of national revenue, and the right to secede, Senke's got nothing. No government of his own. And as the Prime Minister said gloatingly, St. Kitts does not exist. St. Kitts has no autonomy, no proper safeguards, because the only thing that was secured was the legacy that Simmons wanted to be the father of independence. And this all started after the general election in 1980. Labour got the majority of votes that were cast, but only 4 of their candidates were actually elected. PAM got 3. And NRP got the 2 in Nevis. And guess what? They quickly entered into a coalition with NRP and formed the new government. Nimmo was then thrust into the opposition. But it all started, recall, when Simmons won the by-election after the victory of Anthony Ribeiro was overturned. Then Simmons won that seat in Central Bastia. And Limo prorogued the parliament for over a year because he insisted that Simmons would not sit in parliament. But that was to his detriment. Because when he called elections in 1980, after proroguing the parliament for over a year after the death of Caleb Azariah Paul Southwell, the people spoke and gave PAM 3 seats: Central Bastia, East Bastia, and the Valley, the Green Valley, number 8. The marriage of convenience, they predicted, would not last. I recall Brian saying it would last 6 months. But in fact, it lasted for 15 long years. Because Labour underestimated the willingness of the People's Action Movement leadership to ensure they give the NRP what it wanted to maintain power, its own government, share of the revenue, and the right to secede. It was a compromise that was to find itself written into the new Independence Constitution in 1983. Limo at that time and Labour advocated separate local governments for the 2 islands with an overall federal government. Isn't that something we should look at? What do you think? The debate on the Independence Constitution was a heated one. So heated that Moore even threatened that he would change the national anthem and change the flag whenever Labour returned to office. But after 15 years, that was not on the mind of Douglas. But today, it's 2025, my Straight Talk family. And we need to talk about having our own government. The federal elections is what is used to elect a St. Kitts government. The St. Kitts government that will go to the parliament in a month or 2 to appropriate monies to be spent in what we call the budget estimates. Will be monies to be spent in St. Kitts. Nevis goes to its own legislative assembly and appropriates its own funds. But Nevis has a hold on St. Kitts. The system is broken, my straight dog family. And instead of amending the supreme law of our land, the Constitution, to reflect equality, balance, and justice, many want to remain silent and just accept this broken Constitution. Nevis gets to speak on matters of national importance, gets guaranteed seats in the federal parliament, yet gets his own government and still the option to walk away. But St. Kitts carries the federal burden, guarantees Nevis's debt over $500 million, and continues to sacrifice representation and self-governance. And just recently we guaranteed even more of Nevis's debt, like I said. For what? The airport development, geothermal. We can't turn a blind eye and bury our heads in the sand. These are the facts. Let us, my straight dog family, discuss the facts. Why are we afraid? Why are we afraid to say this is not partnership? This is imbalance. This is injustice. We have to look at the Constitution. Can Nevis continue to shape policy in St. Kitts while the government or the people of St. Kitts have no government of their own? Can the Prime Minister have no say on land in Nevis, as he claims, but the division Premier have say over all of the land in St. Kitts? He has say in the federal parliament. That should be, or should not be, anymore. We must amend the Constitution before we even think about withdrawing any boundaries. Those are the views I hear. I represent what the people are telling me. The people are saying to me, let us draft a fair and modern federal structure, one that reflects today's reality. And if Nevis wants 5 seats, then let St. Kitts have its own government. That's what we're saying. Brantley is already calling for 5 seats. Imagine that. Not to have equal a distribution of the population. He wants 5 seats for this reason, my straight dog family.
We want to increase the number of seats in Nevis to 7, a plan that we had before that was put on hold because of COVID. Why? Because the rigors of government now are far more than they were in 1983 when we became independent. We want to see 5 federal seats on Nevis, and we'll be speaking to the government in St. Kitts about expanding that. 10 in St. Kitts, 5 in Nevis, 15 seats. Again, the demands of modern government suggests that we need more people, a broader range of talent in government.
He wants 5 seats. And it's rational. You need more people, a broader range of people in government. Imagine that. Imagine that, my straight dog family. And then our Terence Michael Jew would chat this stupidness.
St. Kitts does not exist in our Constitution. I'll say it again. St. Kitts does not exist. Nevis exists. St. Kitts and Nevis exist, but St. Kitts does not exist. The only place St. Kitts can have funds to do things on St. Kitts is from the Consolidated Fund. St. Kitts does not have an island administration with a separate fund. So I want us to make that clear.
So change the Constitution. That is what we are promoting tonight, my straight dog family. What do you think? Do not be afraid to talk. You have to let them know what you're thinking. It's freedom. Don't bury our heads in the sand, my straight dog family. Then after, we cry. You cannot just bury your heads in the sand, like I said. You see what's happening in St. Kitts? See what's happening in Nevis? You know what's happening in Nevis right now, my Straight Talk family? With that land grab. The land grab in Nevis, my Straight Talk family, is creating all sorts of issues. And I promise my brother I'll find that number as it relates to the citizens that would be accommodated in Nevis. I will find it for him. Let's not forget that. I promise him I will find it. Because we always provide you with the facts. My Straight Talk family, we always present the facts. 7,000 to 10,000 people expected in that enclave. Do we need that? Can we accommodate that, my Straight Talk family? Can we? Is a question we ask ourselves. 7,000 to 10,000 people is what Brantley suggested that they will be in Nevis. I always bring you the information. I will always bring you the information, my Straight Talk family. This is what Brantley said about his South Africa in Nevis.
Under the legislation, they would have responsibility for finding their own water, electricity, and under the legislation up to 70% has to be renewable. And of course, they would have to put in their own roads and infrastructure in that zone. The numbers that we've got is between 7,000 and 10,000 people that anticipate would either be visiting, living, moving back and forth within that zone. Under the legislation, they would have responsibility for finding their own water, electricity, and under the legislation up to 70% has to be renewable. And of course, they would have to put in their own roads and infrastructure in that zone. The numbers that we've got is between 7,000 and 10,000 people that anticipate would either be visiting, living, moving back and forth within that zone.
So now you've heard for yourselves, my Straight Talk family, from Premier Brantley. 7,000 to 10,000 people would be imported in Nevis to live on that enclave with their own water, their own energy, a private community, a libertarian community, my Straight Talk family. So don't you think it's time for us, my Straight Talk family, to have our own government? Nevis has its own government. Now wants 5 seats. Now wants 5 seats. 50% of what we have on St. Kitts. So what is the plan? What is the plan? There's some ulterior motive. What is the motive you anticipate? It's not about partnership. This is imbalance, injustice, my Straight Talk family. And we ask the blunt question, can Nevis, with 26% of the population, be allowed to have 50% of the number of seats on St. Kitts? That's a fair question, my Straight Talk family. That's a fair question. And we need to address it. Don't be afraid to address it, my Straight Talk family. We cannot my Straight Talk family, we cannot address that. We cannot. We cannot allow that to happen, my Straight Talk family. Can Nevis continue to shape policy in St. Kitts while the people of St. Kitts have no government of their own? We need a government of our own. And we must amend the Constitution, I submit, before we even think about redrawing any boundaries. And that may be controversial, but it's time we give St. Kitts what Nevis already has, a government. We need a government in St. Kitts and a government in Nevis. And then we can deal with the fair and modern federal structure after that. That's not hard to implement. There are models all over the world. We want one that reflects today's reality and not those backroom deals of 1983. If Nevis wants 5 seats, then let St. Kitts have its own government. If Nevis wants control, let them control their affairs, but not at our expense. My Straight Dog family, we need to address this and address it frontally. We need to address it and address it now. Good night, Mr. Liebert reads this email. The snake think he is smart. When he realized the 3 seats not giving him the opportunity to be prime minister. So he walk out having 5 seats will give him the advantage. July is so stupid, he will allow it. It is also a way to get him, other ministers, to get a bubble salary per month. My Straight Dog family reads this email. And yes, why would he demand 5 seats? Why would he? Ask yourselves a question.
We want to increase the number of seats in Nevis to 7, a plan that we had before that was put on hold because of COVID. Why? Because the rigors of government now are far more than they were in 1983 when we became independent. We want to see 5 federal seats on Nevis, and we'll be speaking to the government in St. Kitts about expanding that. 10 in St. Kitts, 5 in Nevis, 15 seats. Again, the demands of modern government suggests that we need more people, a broader range of talent in government.
More people, a broader range of talent in government. That's his rationale. Nothing to do with constituency boundaries. Nothing at all. You need people with a broader range. Don't be fooled, my Straight Dog family. These are issues we must address. And when he would have finished getting his 5 seats, if July, who has no inkling about government, allow him to get his way, then you know what will happen, my Straight Dog family? What will happen when he gets the 10,000 people on Nevis?
Under the legislation, they would have responsibility for finding their own water, electricity, and under the legislation up to 70% has to be renewable. And of course, they would have to put in their own roads and infrastructure in that zone. So the numbers that we've got is between 7,000 and 10,000 people that anticipate would either be visiting, living, moving back and forth within that zone.
So he wants 5 seats. He wants to establish a zone, special authorization or economic zone with 7,000 to 10,000 people either living or moving back and forth. And they will become citizens. Every citizen can vote. Every citizen can vote. Don't be fooled. As long as you have a passport and become a citizen, you are entitled to vote. So he's going to pad up his list with 7,000 people. Who will they vote for? Who will the libertarians vote for? My Straight Dog family, open your eyes. Many are afraid to talk. Many come to me and whisper to me. I have no problem. I'll speak for you. I'll speak for the voiceless. Yes, I'll speak for you. Do not be afraid. Let me speak for you. Everybody's gone quiet because it's a contentious issue. And my Straight Talk family, I gave you the background. I'll remind you again. I suggested tonight that we amend our Constitution because it's time. It's time to amend the St. Kitts Nevis Constitution, not to review constituency boundaries. And Mark Brantley told you exactly why. And I came tonight and I always speak plainly. I always speak without fear or favor. I came tonight to tell you that the time has come to amend the Constitution of St. Kitts and Nevis and not to tinker with constituency boundaries. Amend the Constitution first. That's my proposal. It's radical, yes. It's certainly controversial, but it is absolutely necessary. And some of you will say it won't happen. Some of you will say it's unconstitutional, what I'm trying to say here. But I said, I asked you to hear me out. And I reflected back to 1983, when St. Kitts and Nevis became independent. That's the year. We had 11 constituencies. They were increased from 7 to 11. Eight on St. Kitts and 3 on Nevis. 1 each on St. Kitts and Nevis. Up from 7 in St. Kitts, beg your pardon, and 2 in Nevis. Let's go back to the lines, my Straight Talk family, and thank this caller for holding. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
I'm good.
Hello?
I'm good.
Hello? Yeah, that sounds like the Bible, man. How about thou, sir?
Well, I'm fine now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you see, I am going to tell you something, Mr. Patel. The word of God says, when you see all these things, look up. Because your redemption draweth nigh.
Mm-hmm.
What happening nowadays, man, is trying to take over God, dirty. And I saw God did not put it, God did not left it in here for nobody. All he said that we must live like one. When Psalms 133, you know what that Psalm 133 said? That is.
Tell me, something with that one. I must admit. Psalm 133. Give me 2 words and I'll tell you. Oh,
good and pleasant.
It is, yes.
That brethren supposed to live together.
As one, yes. In unity.
As one.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
And it's in unity.
In unity, yes.
So, Mr. Patrick, I am me looking up here. because Jesus is coming soon. And so nothing is going to catch me off guard. And I pray that nothing catch me off guard, because hear the word of God says, if the righteous could scarce be saved, where shall the ungodly and the sinner shall appear? Mr. Patrick, one thing you have to do, you have to give God thanks and praise every day. We are in the month of October, the 6th of October. And God is good to us here. So, it is the Lord's mercy that we are not consumed. They are new every morning. Great is thy faithfulness.
Yes.
You say morning by morning, new mercy I see. Mr. Patrick, good night. Have a pleasant night.
Have a pleasant night as well, Mr. Bible Man. Always grateful for your interventions, I call them the spiritual interventions, and I know that many look forward to that as well, yes, are you there, caller? Hello, caller? Hello? How are you, my lord? Sounds like the major.
Yes, how you do?
I am peaceful. How about thou? I haven't heard you for some time. Is all well?
Well, boy, sometimes I have to go in the ass. Sometimes I have to go in the ass. Because of a good shot,
Go ahead, anyway.
You have to go in the ass now.
Okay.
It's very weapon.
Okay, got you.
You got me?
Yeah, got you.
Listen to you here tonight. I was going to let them, but I was listening here tonight. And here was some with this. Listen, I want to be very slowly with it. There is a subject called government. In school, they mostly teach us civics, which is merely how the current organization is put together. The real subject in government, which goes under various headings: political economy, political power, and all sorts of things. So therefore, what I am saying to you, you raise a point here that I can up to now, I'm thinking about it, is that these people say they want five seats, and they take everything, and they their own government. We ain't got our own government.
Exactly.
We don't have our own government. So therefore, we are allowing a smaller country to get on top of us. Eh?
Exactly.
Nonsense is that.
You've got it, Major.
That can happen because I tell you, in school, all they teach, the word government goes under various headings of political economy and political power.
Mm-hmm.
And it's civics in school they teach you. In school, that's the most thing they teach in school, they're in civics.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, they teach us. That is what they teach you. And the real subject is government. Mm-hmm. The real subject is government. So which goes under various headings. Mm-hmm. Political economy and political power. So what we going to do? What we going to do? Tell me what we're going to do. You're the teacher, you're listening, Remember, I listen, and I'm a man who widely read. Right? And I can't understand it. Up to now, I can't understand it. It has in my head.
Well, we need to get our own government. Census needs his own government.
If that is the case, we have to go. How is it that Nevis got their own government?
Yes.
Nevis got their own government. They got their own government, and we're bigger than them. How is that possible?
Exactly.
You think my younger brother who come my hands, are you older than him? Isn't it? No, he's older than me. Mm-hmm. So I had to listen, but I ain't gonna be no fool. Exactly. We got to make up our mind. We have to make up our mind. If they want their own government, we have to get our own government. Because we can't What are you telling you?
They have their own government.
Yeah, they have their own government.
Yes.
And I have to hear someone say what I have.
Mm-hmm.
So then it ain't so. It ain't that's what happening.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how. If they share, if I make $100, I got to give you 50, 25 out there, and I give 75, isn't it?
Exactly. But you remember,
and then what they get, that's what they got. It belongs to them, isn't it?
Exactly.
Whatever they get belongs to them, and I have to share my income. That is unfair. It's unfair. Unfair. I'm a son of Israel. I ain't stupid. I ain't stupid at all. How my younger brother can get more than me? That's what happened. And I before him, I'm bigger than him. I'm bigger than him, practice. And that's what I'm saying, the current organization, we have to put things together. We have to put things together. Yeah. Because you said that Brazil is getting some one load of money. How much money getting? Some $66 million?
$66 million. Yes, $66 million per year.
What, a year?
Yes, 5.5 million per month. Every month he collects $5.5 million. He may say that's not his fair share.
Yeah, and he's still looking for a share. I don't understand what's going on. We have to get this thing started out.
Yes.
We have to get this thing started out. I don't care what people do. They can't, my juniors ain't supposed to be in charge of it.
Yes.
Huh? How many juniors could be in charge of it? Your juniors could be in charge of the party?
Of course not. Of course not.
We got to get things started. Right? If that is the case, let me see what we can do. And since they want to go, let it go about it. Since they want, that's what they want. They got their own government. That's what this farmer fellow, what's his name? He's dead now. I don't remember them because I don't take them on.
Late Sim?
Yeah. Not, what is this fellow he was one of the, he's one of the heroes, the national heroes.
Sim Daniel?
Yeah. So therefore, he decided he wants his own government.
Yes.
Too proud and he got 20.
And he was right, eh? You don't know.
Yeah.
He was right. He was right. You can't fault him for that.
We want to be one government now too.
About time.
So I go, yeah?
It's about time.
Yeah. The school says that the boss who in charge will have to set up that.
Yes.
Who in charge will have to set up that. And they still, they get money, and I have to share some of mine. You can't be in my field. You have to say your own thing yourself and say, well, what's up, there's this section. Just say, give me back some then, if you're honest, isn't it?
Right. Thank you, Major.
Yeah.
Thank you, Major.
Okay.
Some people are afraid to talk, but they have to talk the truth.
Yeah.
Thank you, Major. This is what Mark...
We want to increase the number of seats in Nevis to 7, a plan that we had before that was put on hold because of COVID. Why? Because the rigors of government now are far more than they were in 1983 when we became independent. We want to see 5 federal seats on Nevis, and we'll be speaking to the government in St. Kitts about expanding that. 10 in St. Kitts, 5 in Nevis. 15 seats. Again, the demands of modern government suggest that we need more people, a broader range of talent in government.
That's his excuse. You need more people, a broader range of talent in government. That's his reason for 5 federal seats in Nevis. Caller, thank you for holding your live.
Yes, good night, Brother Patches. This is the voice of Winston. Welcome.
Good night, my brother.
Patches, I'm going straight across the Narrows. Now, Nevis people have to analyze what Premier Brantley is saying. And if they don't continue to monitor him, they're going to lose out. Because look at the understanding. The special zone, the SSZ zone, they want to allow, maybe it could be more, 10,000 people be granted citizenship. And that 10,000 people, who do you think they are going to vote for? Where would it put the premier? It will put the premier in it's going to throw the premier over the top. to maintain power. And that is unfair to just bring in 10,000 people like that. We can't look that they're going to vote for somebody else, another party in Nevis. They're going to vote for him. So right here, this is I smell bubble. Mm-hmm. This is a bubble we are fixing the election because the people in Nevis will be overwhelmed. Look at their riches that coming in. Ain't no poor people coming in there now. No poor people are rich people. And they're going to dominate and triumph over the people of Nevis. Because Nevis people, hey, they've been surviving. But what will be the extra for them? They ain't going to get nothing. Then these people come in and take our land however they get it. But our land shouldn't be sold. Because anyhow those land be sold, given, other than the indigents, the nationals, they'll get you all supper. So you all better never let that happen. To hell with those 10,000 people. Let it go somewhere else. We've been living so for hundreds of years. So we don't need them.
Okay.
We could find other investments. Other investments are out there that not going to try to take away your land. Because once your land gone, it's not to be come back. So, caveat emptor.
Okay.
That's the Latin way of saying, be aware, people.
Okay. Thanks a lot, my brother.
For that.
Thanks a lot. We go back to the lines and thank this caller for holding. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller. Are you there, caller?
Yes, Patrick. Good evening.
Good evening.
You can hear me good?
Yes, you're loud and clear.
Okay. Yeah. What the content put me will to pen. I always have a bad feeling with that Speaker of the House. From the first day that she entered, when she said that Wimpy used to sing her, teach and so. I said, well, that's a bad taste in my mouth. She ain't gonna be no better than Wimpy. I do not know where Labour just get those kind of Speaker of the House. You look up, they go out there and they look for the worst set of people to put in the House in there to be Speaker. Speaker who just got in there, working for them, looking money, and don't care about the nation. That's how I feel when I heard her say that Wimpy train her and what's not. I sorry. Mr. Hamilton never get some bigger garbage bin that we could have packed all of them in the bin, close it down, and we don't drift them out to sea because they ain't no use in the country right now. They're just mucking up the place and giving people more stress and anything about it. They gone in there and take one load of money and they ain't doing nothing for us. Not a thing they're doing for us in this country, but just to fill up the packet. None of them know what they must do. And they need to come out of India. You Patrice, have a pleasant night. You hear me?
Have a pleasant night.
I get sick of hearing them here right now. I get sick of hearing them.
Yes, my dear. Thanks a lot for your intervention. Thanks a lot. And, you know, we have no issues with the people of Nevis. Let me be clear. I speak as a division born in St. Kitts. But when it comes to this political arrangement and what Mark Branty is trying to sneak in, and the member as well who was nominated on the Boundaries Commission speaking the same language, although they are given different reasons, different rationales, we ought to be worried. Caller, you're live.
Yes, Mr. Liber. Good evening. How are you?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
Okay, you know who's speaking to you. I don't have to tell you everything.
Yes.
Every time I come on, I don't have to tell you that.
I recognize the voice, yes. Khalik Kwan.
Yes. I want to send out a message, Mr. Liebert, to Jeffrey, to tell him, anybody listening, I know everybody is listening, you show. Tell him to check the deck here in Sandy Point, there by the hospital, Paxton Hospital. Paxton Medicine Hospital. The deck here there need to fix in the kitchen. I have my grandchild going there, and the children them is small. I don't want my grandchild to get sick and with other children. Tell Jeffrey Hamley if he listening, or somebody listening to tell him, come and check the deck here in Sandy Point by Paxton Hospital. You need to fix in the kitchen. Kitchen need to fix. The lady that over there, over it, don't make a report already, and nobody show up, nobody come to overhaul it. It need to fix, cause small children inside there, they can get sick. And the next thing again, Mr. Liebert, these people were said are gone in. The top what they want to run, think it, have people like a laughing stock. Every minute the premier telling the Prime Minister think it, he wants to see a share. That's good for them. Then he heard him and tell him he wants to see a share. Because the owner of the party don't need to see a share because the money in the country. Dr. Joe and he cabal them, don't whack up and waste the money. All the money there now is to pay the civil servant them. I hope he will bring double salary to the people in Christmas God willing, and the last year each and every one of us life to see the Christmas come in. I hope he pay double salary to the people them. The independence coming doing so he can pay something and give the people them who enjoy their independence. The children them in the school that want to enjoy their independence. Cheap. Everything come dead. And it just deading out, the independence just deading out, and it is government here. Dr. Joe and the cabal them, they ain't ready yet. They're pulling up the backside with people tax money. Every minute they're going to private jet. Every minute they're going in horse. But they're going in the horse to say. But they went in the pass and say, Timothy got word to say what he say. But not tonight. All people say when you lift up your tongue, it won't lift up and just be a play. Dr. Timothy is going right back in there. And the commissioner there up to now, he not call nothing in front of me brother child. And when him problem, he not call nothing up to now. Okay. Next month gonna make 7 months, the 27th of next month gonna make 7 months.
Okay, my dear. Okay, got you. Thanks a lot for your intervention. I go back to the line. Let me take as many calls as I can now. Caller, you're live.
Hello,
caller.
Good night. Hello.
Yes, good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Can you touch on that unsafe saline water situation in Keon?
Yes, I can. I'm about wrapping, but I still hear the complaints about the water in Keon, and itches your skin. Some people. That's what you're referring to.
Yes, the one with the people, they need that reliable water supply, and they, that situation that they dealing with is so unsafe.
Oh yes. Yes, we will. I haven't touched it for some time, to be honest with you. But yes, it still exists because we still hear the complaints.
Yeah, there was something today in the news about it.
Oh,
I saw.
It was, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, there was something in the news today about it online, and I was really surprised because this has been going on for so long. I mean, this is ridiculous.
Oh yes.
For those people have to be suffering like this with that water situation.
Okay, I saw something in the news about Beacon Heights and Jewels, though. But I'll check that. I missed that one there, but I'll check that because there are issues all over. Issues all over this water, With all the rain coming, you wonder what's happening to the water supply. But we have a so-called engineer. But thanks a lot for your...
appreciate it.
My pleasure, my dear. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Have a good night as well. Yes, that water in Keon, or matter of fact, around the entire island, is still creating concerns for us. We haven't heard much about the what you call it, the desalination. That too. The people in Bird Rock and its surroundings, Frigate Bay. We haven't been told the facts. But everything that's in the dark will come to the light, I'm sure. Caller, you're live.
Yeah, good evening, Patches. Yes, of course. How are you doing tonight, man?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
Yeah, pretty good, man. Everything in the dark will come to the light.
Yes, certainly.
Yeah, there was a clip circulating that Keon Water Wolves continues.
Okay.
And kudos to that lady that pinpointed that just before you came off.
Yes, I'll investigate it. I missed it, I must admit.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in St. Kitts Nevis, man. And Patches, like you mentioned before, there's a lot of people underground. They have lots of degrees, more than a thermometer. We say we are such and such 98% literate. We have a lot of people. We have a lot of scholars underground. Went away to school and came back. 42 years of independence, and we cannot touch that Constitution up to now. Patches, the way how I see it, man, St. Kitts and Nevis progress is being hampered. The advancement of this small, tiny state is being hampered. Unless we get our act together, Patches, we'll be talking about these same things 50 years from now. Another 42 years again. Some of us may not get to see one more day, one more week, one more month, one more year, much less 42 more and 50 more years. Nike got a motto, just do it. That's why they're able to rake in millions and billions across the world. Your thesis and your observation tonight right up the alley. The Premier already said it in Parliament. He wants these economic citizens to come right on into the Federation. If we don't pay attention, we are going to lose out. Who knows? Maybe he's crafting exactly this. Remember now, Patches, what we got to do, we got to pay a little bit more closer attention to what you have said tonight. You brought a lot of stuff to the public tonight. Some of us, we got to listen closely. Patches, you have thrown out a lot of stuff tonight, man. Like stuff, I call them the intangibles, man. The Constitution is the law of the land. The Constitution is faulty. Everything else below it is faulty as well. We cannot keep operating under a faulty Constitution. It's outdated. It needs to be updated.
Okay.
We need Constitution. We need Constitution and electoral reform.
Yes.
If we don't get that, we will be like this for another 42 years. Yep. The place is stagnated. No opposition across the narrows. If we don't have an opposition in Nevis and no opposition in St. Kitts, what do you think going to happen? These two gentlemen, they're going to run away with the country. Reckless spending and everything else they want to get done, they will get it done. No opposition, this is where we lead to, and this is where we at. No opposition across the narrows, this is where it leads to. Once upon a time, I say, influx 10,000 Haitians to help with the agriculture sector. Meet them in, and we adjust our immigration policy. That didn't happen.
Okay.
Brantley and the top elites, they only want rich foreigners to come into the Federation. Let them keep going. We are creating apartheid in St. Kitts and Nevis, and that proposed enclave is going to put the icing on the cake because we already got pockets of apartheid in Nevis, especially I can talk to, where I'm from. I've seen it with my two eyes. When I visit there, these rich folks, they got their lands fenced up and, the gates down by the roadside. when that enclave come on Nevis is going to influx that 7 to 10,000 people you're talking about? Yes, Patches, that balance of power will sway. People got to pay attention to what this is leading up to. Patches, but when that 7 to 10,000 people influx into Nevis, it's going to change the dynamics. Because if Nevis got 13,000 right now, but I know they maybe have 13,500 from the last census. But if you take 13,000 and you add 7,000 to it, that's 20,000. If Sinkis stay at where it's at, 50,000, that means Nevis will have 40% of the 40%. Yeah. Okay, that means Nevis will move up a lot on the ladder. They will have close to 40% of the people now. You see what I'm saying? So the whole dynamics will shift. And if Nevis get that balance of power, then you know. And Patches, last before I get off, that clip that you play with the Prime Minister tonight here, there's a second part to that clip where the Prime Minister is saying that if Nevis gets a Prime Minister in relationship to the land issue, he said also that if Nevis gets a Prime Minister, they will dominate St. Kitts and control the lands of St. Kitts. And maybe you can cope with that. I don't know if you can get that done before you get off tonight, but maybe at least next time when you bring back that clip, when you come back next time, expand that clip a little bit more. And then that way we can get a little bit more scope on what he's saying and the ramifications if balance of power changes over to Nevis. And I'll leave it there, man. Thanks a lot, man. You guys have a good night.
Thanks a lot, my dear brother. And remember, we recall when Unity was in office and the third Prime Minister went over to Nevis, and Mark Brantley had a song and a dance that he did not tell him, the Premier, that he was coming to Nevis. Imagine that. But Mark Brantley comes down to St. Kitts, goes to Cairn, to St. Paul, all over. You know? But my Straight Dog family, as I wind down tonight's programming, I came and as usual spoke with you without fear or favor. I came to tell you tonight that the time has come to amend the Constitution of St. Kitts and Nevis, not to tinker, not to play around, my Straight Dog family, with constituency boundaries. Amend the Constitution first. And that's my proposal. If you say it's radical, yes, it's radical. If you say it's controversial, yes, certainly it's controversial. If you say it's necessary, absolutely. And some will say it won't happen. Some will say it's unconstitutional, like I said. But I said, I asked you to hear me out. And you heard me out. I went back to 1983, my Straight Dog family, when we all had 11 seats. Total, 8 on St. Kitts, 3 on Nevis. Up from 7 St. Kitts and 2 on Nevis. I spoke to the realignment of boundaries. And since that time, there has been one minor adjustment to the boundaries in 1989. That's 36 years ago, yes. When part of Otley's village was transferred from constituency number 7 to number 8 in St. Kitts. But 35 years later, there has been no further change. But there were 4 reports produced by a Constituency Boundaries Commission between 2009 and 2015, and each one was challenged in the court of law. The last one, remember, the 2015 Privy Council ruling. I brought you the facts. I wanted you to listen to the facts. I wanted you to hear the injustice. The silence from those who should be accountable. Because in May last year, in May 2024, we were told that the Constituency Boundaries Commission was appointed by the Governor General and would proceed with reviewing the electoral boundaries. Yet 1 year thereafter, there is no clarity on whether the chairman and my good friend Wycliffe Morton is even still in office. Because Straight Talk knows that he has left the country, he has left the federation to pursue theological studies in Jamaica. And that's fine. That is the man's calling. But has he resigned? Has Wycliffe Morton resigned? Has he convened a single meeting of the commission since his appointment in May last year? Has any report, as required under Section 7 or Section 50, beg your pardon, has any report been submitted to the Governor General? I don't think so. But the people deserve answers. We deserve transparency, not silence. There are 11 constituencies in total, 8 on St. Kitts and 3 on Nevis. And if the number increases, the Constitution requires that Nevis must hold 1/3 of the total. But no. Straight Talk hears that a member appointed on the advice of the leader of the opposition has recommended increasing the seats from 11 to 15, 2 more for St. Kitts and 2 more for Nevis. And that would mean Nevis ends up with 5 of the 15 seats, 1/3, yes, while holding only 26% of the population. But meanwhile, this member nominated by the opposition leader gave his reasons to have to equate or to have the equal amount of inhabitants. But the premier of Nevis wants 5 seats as well. But he gave entirely different reasons. And here are the reasons that he gave.
We want to increase the number of seats in Nevis to 7, a plan that we had before that was put on hold because of COVID. Why? Because the rigors of government now are far more than they were in 1983 when we became independent. We want to see 5 federal seats on Nevis. And we'll be speaking to the government in St. Kitts about expanding that. 10 in St. Kitts, 5 in Nevis. 15 seats. Again, the demands of modern government suggests that we need more people, a broader range of talent in government.
His reason for wanting 5 seats. You want a broader range of people in government. What he wants is more influence. Perhaps more leverage in Bastille. So we ask, how much more must St. Kitts give up? Let's face the fact. Our Constitution was drafted on the back of political expediency. And Sim Daniel was right. He made sure Nevis got everything. Its own government. A share of national revenue. And let's not forget the right to secede. Meanwhile, St. Kitts got nothing. Not even a government of its own. No autonomy, no proper safeguards. The only thing secured was Kennedy Simmons' legacy as the father of independence. He wanted to become the first prime minister. So he moved to independence in 1983 after being elected in 1980. But that title of father of independence is still hotly debated till today. Because some say Robert Llewellyn Bradshaw is the father. Some say Kennedy Simmons is. And this all started from the general election of the 18th February 1980. My Straight Talk family, the debate on the Independence Constitution was heated back in the 1980s. Why are we ignoring it today? Because today in 2025, St. Kitts still does not have its own government. The federal elections are therefore meant to elect a St. Kitts government. And the late Vance Amory said it best 32 years ago, after the 1993 elections, and refused to join the federal government. And what Amri said, many are still afraid to admit that the system is broken. And the current Prime Minister, Terence Michael Drew, proudly tells us there's no Senkits in the Constitution, as if that's something to boast about. So if there's no Senkits in the Constitution, amend the Constitution, the supreme law of our land, to reflect equality, balance, and justice. But he remains silent and accepts the Constitution. Because, like he said, an election can be easily bought. But Nevis gets to speak on matters of national importance, gets guaranteed seats, gets his own government, and still the option to walk away. But Senkits carries the federal burden, guarantees Nevis's debt, over $500 million, and continues to sacrifice representation and self-governance. This is not partnership. This is imbalance. This is injustice. And my Straight Talk family, I didn't come to upset anyone tonight. I came to ask some pertinent questions. Can Nevis continue to shape policy in St. Kitts while the people of St. Kitts have no government of their own? Can the Prime Minister have no say on land in Nevis, but a Nevisian Premier have say over all things in St. Kitts? That should not be anymore. We must amend the Constitution before we even think about redrawing any boundaries. We must finally give St. Kitts what Nevis already has, a government. St. Kitts needs a government too. St. Kitts needs autonomy, representation, respect. Let us reset the balance. Let us draft a fair and modern federal structure, one that reflects today's reality, not the backroom deals of 1983. Billy Herbert has gone, and Simmons too has gone out of office. If Nevis wants 5 seats, then let St. Kitts have its own government. If Nevis wants control, let them control their affairs, but not at our expense. The Constitution is bad, it is outdated, it is unjust, and it must be amended now. It's time to amend the Constitution, the St. Kitts Nevis Constitution, not to review constituency boundaries. And that's my story tonight, my Straight Talk family, and I am not going to change it. I want to thank Almighty God for guiding our conversation tonight as always. I want to thank you, all those who called, those who sent emails, the thousands of you who listen. I thank you and must assure you that all of you, the viewers, the callers, the emailers, you are the ones who make Straight Talk. And for that reason, I say a big, big thank you. I am Ian Patches Liban, and God's Spear, we will connect on Thursday for another edition of Straight Talk. Until then, I want to implore you to be good to yourselves and to all whom you meet, and implore you to remember as well. As my quotation said, there are times when action is required to defend our great democracy against those who would see it perverted into one more rigged game where the rich and the powerful wins. And my Straight Talk family, remember, whatever your mind conceive, that you will achieve. But first of all, you must believe. So when you wake in the morning, thank God for the morning light. Thank Him for taking you through the night. And my Straight Talk family, keep moving on. Bye-bye. Until we connect on Thursday. Have yourselves the best of what's left of tonight.
brethren kind and good, the best I could. So I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow. Down on my knees, to the Lord I kneel and pray, with my heart and soul, beg Him to take me through each day. My God,